All right, so to begin this blend shape assignment, let's take a look at our model here. We've got a bus that's been retopologized. I modeled this using Dynamesh, retopologized it. If we look at the polyframes right here at the edge flow, you can see what really goes into making proper facial expressions. To make proper facial expressions, we need good edge loops and edge flow in our geometry. Now, this is something that we'll talk a little bit more about when we talk about retopology, but it's important to note when you look at this sort of thing that there are loops. All right, so they're not spirals, they're for example full loops. So we can start on one polygon and follow this all the way around right back to the beginning. All right, a complete closed loop, and you'll notice that around the eyes, there are several complete closed loops. You'll also notice in the muzzle area, so over the top of the nose and then down and under and around the chin, this whole muzzle area has proper, full, and complete loops. And you'll also notice that around the mouth, same sort of thing. Proper, complete, full, complete loops. They're not spirals that spiral in on themselves. These are complete loops. And those sorts of things are important to get proper stretch and squash in your in the deformations that you're making in the geometry to create believable facial expressions. Okay, so again, if your geometry isn't like this, isn't retopologized with proper loops, your facial blend shapes are they're not going to look quite right. Okay, so before you do blend shapes, you should always check the geometry to make sure that it'll support what you're trying to do. So let's go ahead and turn this off. Now, I do turn the wireframe on now and then just to kind of show you the wireframe of the model. It's important to note that oftentimes while you're animating it or while you're doing your blend shapes, it's probably better to just kind of turn those off so they don't distract you in any way. All right, so we've got our model. You'll notice that this model does not have levels of subdivision. If we come into our geometry, it's only one level. Now, in a production situation, the model you would have would most likely have several levels of subdivision. All right. It should be noted that it's easier for you to do your blend shapes at your lowest subdivision level. Now, there may be times as you're doing your blend shapes while you're working in the lower levels that you can go up to the upper levels and make tweaks to that as well. But just to keep this assignment simple and hopefully not to cause any kind of problems and help you understand the process, I've deleted the higher subdivision levels just so we can work on the low res mesh right here. Okay, so we are ready to begin our blend shapes. Your assignment is to create 10 blend shapes with this guy. All right, so what you're going to do is create 5 full blend shapes. By that I mean a full smile, which we will later separate into left smile and right smile. So you'll do a full smile, perhaps a full eye raise, an eye blink, puffy cheeks, whatever it is, you will do. You're going to do it with your symmetry turned on, and I'm going to show you a process by how we can separate them into left and right. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin with our model in its default stage right here. I'm going to go ahead and close up geometry, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to open up my morph target, and it's when you open up your morph target palette right here in your ZBrush tool palette, it should look like this. It should be grayed out except for this store MT, store morph target. If that's the case, all you need to do is go ahead and click on store morph target, and you can close this up and you're done. If for whatever weird reason you open up the morph target palette and it looks like this, where all of this stuff is available to you, go ahead and delete your morph target so that you can store a fresh one. Okay, so once that's done, we can close that up. And now we're going to move over to the layers palette right here. All right, and we'll open up the layers palette. And this is going to help us to this is what we're going to use. This is going to be what we use to create our blend shapes. So to begin with, I'm going to go ahead and just click on this big square right here, which will create a new layer. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got a new layer right here. I'm going to go ahead and name that layer, and we'll call this full underscore smile. Okay, oops, let me rename that. It says, let me do full smile. There we go. Now you'll notice a couple things here. We've got our full smile name. The slider right here is all the way over to the right, and the record button is turned on. It's very important that you pay attention to this record button right here. This will be turning itself off and on as we do certain things, but you know, again, you'll just want to always be aware of what condition that record button is in. All right, so make sure you have your layers palette open and available to you, and you can see it at all times. Now, the brush that we're going to use more than anything for doing blend shapes is just going to be your regular move brush. Just your regular move brush. If you're using the custom UI, it's right down here. If not, you just need to hit B, oops, let me see, B, M, and then B for the move brush right there. Okay, B, there you go. So we have the move brush selected. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to come in a little bit closer, make my draw size a little bit smaller. I'm going to make sure that my symmetry is turned on. I can come up to transform and double check. All right, right there. My symmetry is turned on. Remember the hotkey for that is X. Okay, so we can turn that off and on. Oops, where is it? There we go, X. Okay, off and on. All right, so let's go back into our move brush here. I'm going to make my draw size just a little bit smaller. I am recording a layer. Record button is turned on. And now I can come in here with my move brush and just start to pull up the corners of the mouth here. Okay, I'm going to pull this up. Now, as you're making your blend shapes, you have to always make sure you're looking around your model and looking at it from different angles. All right, if you just try and do these from the front on view, they're not going to work. They're going to look funny. All right, so you also have to take into account what happens when I pull the corners of these mouths up, right, of this mouth up. Skin is going to bunch up right here. The lips themselves are probably going to move up a little bit. All right, you can move this up. Now, other things are going to probably happen, like the nostrils will probably flare out a little bit. The eyebrows may raise a little bit. But we're going to take care of all of those things as separate blend shapes. So for this right here, all I'm going to do is pull up the corners of the mouth. All right. I'm going to probably pull out some of the cheeks right here. All right. Maybe even pull up the bottom lip a little bit. All right. Just like that a little. Okay. Trying not to make it look too goofy. Okay. We'll pull this in and up. And again, we'll worry about the nose in, or actually, you know, even for this one right here, why don't we just go ahead. I'm going to make my draw size a little smaller. And I'm just going to pull the corners of the nostrils up a little bit. Okay. All right, so we've got a simple smile. Let's go ahead and take our slider in the layers palette here and just drag this down to 0. All right. So you can see that zeroes that out. And let's go ahead and drag this to the right. And you can see there's our smile. So as we do this, notice that the nostrils on the nose are flaring out just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Just like that. Okay. Now, if I wanted to continue working on this blend shape, I would need to make sure that that record button was turned on. All right, you can see that when we tested it, the record button got turned off. All right. If I were to come in here and to make an adjustment on this, we would get a warning telling me that we do need to turn the blend shape, the record button back on if we wanted to continue making changes here. Okay, so we'll just bring this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so we've got one blend shape created here. All right. What I'm going to do now is just bring this back down to 0. because now we need to separate these into left side and right side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this full smile and I'm going to duplicate it twice. So let's go ahead and right here, this is the duplicate button. I'm going to duplicate it once and duplicate it twice. I'm going to go to the second one right here, this full smile one, second one. Make sure that's at 0. Okay. And let's go ahead and rename this. So I'm going to click on name and we'll call this smile left. All right. And let's go ahead and click on this one here since we're here, and we'll name this one smile right. Okay. So with the smile left all the way up right here, I'm going to move that all the way up, and we're going to turn on the record button. I'm now going to use a brush called the morph brush. So I'm going to go into my brushes by hitting B, then M, and I'm going to look for the morph brush, which is right here. All right, so that's BMO. We'll take this brush. I'm going to make my draw size a little bit bigger. All right. And what I want you to understand with this morph brush, what it's going to do is it's going to look at the morph target that we created, and it's going to restore part of the model to that original morph target shape. So for this to work, I'm going to turn off my symmetry. Okay, and let me go back up here, make sure that this is still turned on, smile left, and this is going to be the characters left as opposed to screen left. Okay, so that'll be this side right here, smile left. So we're gonna reduce the smile on the right side. So all I'm going to do, again, with the morph brush selected, if you look at your brush right there, that's the morph brush is selected. I'm going to come in here with my symmetry turned off. All right, draw size a little bit big, and I'm just going to paint this side of the model. And you can see that as I paint this side of the model, it restores itself back to what the original default position was. Whatever the position was we stored in the morph target. So I can also lower my intensity and lower my draw size so that I can come in here and do this part of the mouth without it being too. So I want to just kind of fix this a little bit so that that smile there, something like that maybe. All right, that doesn't look too good. Let me undo that and we'll try that again. Let's go back here, something like that. And I'm going to lower that intensity a bit more, make my draw size a little bit bigger, and just try and get that smile. There we go, something like that. All right, so now when we look at, if we drag the slider here, let's go all the way down to 0. All right, you can see now we've got a left smile. You can drag that up and down, left smile. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that back down to 0. We'll take the smile right. We'll bring this all the way up. Let's go ahead and hit the record button. We still have our morph brush selected right here. So now I'm going to come over on this side. Again, our symmetry is turned off so that we're not affecting the other side of the model. And I'm just going to come in here and paint over that again, just like that. All right, something like that. Let's go ahead and move this back down here. Okay, we've got that and that. Okay, so it needs a little bit of work still, I think. So let's go ahead and turn this on right here. Okay, and we'll just do this kind of thing. Just, there we go. That's feeling a little bit better. So obviously this takes a little bit of time to get it feeling just right. Okay, these things are always kind of slow. So let's see. All right, that's good. Left smile looks good. And right smile looks good. Now, as I do the right smile, I'm noticing that some of this stuff over here is moving. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the record button right there, and with my morph brush, just kind of relax that area a little bit. Here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and test that out again. Let's put this back here. There we go. That's fine. Okay, so we've got our full smile left smile, right smile. On the full smile here, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and select that, and I'm going to change the name just to make things all consistent so that all of my smiles line up right here. Let me just go ahead and rename this Smile Full instead of Full Smile. S-M-I-L-E, there we go. Smile Full. Perfect. Okay, so we have our full smile, and we have our left smile and our right smile. Okay. In the next video, we're going to go over this process one more time. All right, we'll do one more. I'll show you one more full blend shape, and I'll break it into left and right, and then I will allow you to go ahead and do your blend shapes. All right, so in the next video, we're going to just repeat this process one more time with a different feature.